It's funny because he says he would have jumped in front of the gunman. But let us not forget the bone spurs. You see, that kept him out of Nam. Because he is a brave man. He's the bravest man. The bravest man.
Man.
Oh, he just wow.
Fuck that guy.
Can you believe he's been around for over a year officially now as the president of the free world?
I was going to say, I was waiting for you to finish that sentence because I wasn't sure where that was going.
Ooh. Meats. Speaking of, hi!
Pardon me, that was a nasty cough. Hi, Christopher!
Do you see what you're doing to him, boys and girls? You're killing him.
You're literally making me ill.
You're killing him. I am Dr. Shiny McNichols.
And I am Professor Erasmus Fartypants.
And I'm here to perform an operation on Erasmus, if I might call you Erasmus.
You must call me Ear. Everyone calls me
Eeyore.
short.
I'll call you Eeyore.
No, Ear.
All right.
Everyone
Ear.
calls me Ear for short.
Okay. If Eeyore's a donkey, is Ear just a pack mule?
It's just a tail.
Ooh. Oh, cinematic universe. One movie's about Eeyore, the other movie's about his tail, and they come together. Speaking of cinematic universes, that's the main topic this week, as you may notice by the thumbnail and the name. We're going to be talking about the best MCU villains. We'll get into that very shortly.
The thumb name.
Yeah,
The name nail?
The
thumbnail.
But first, speaking of things that make sense, Batgirl, the movie, is delayed from a date we didn't know it had anyway.
Possibly cancelled. It seems like Warner Brothers are a bit hesitant to move forward with it now because
they don't know what they're doing. Oh wait, no, that's not why they're not moving forward. It's because the attached writer and director is no longer attached.
Yeah, Joss Whedon has basically walked away from the project.
The serial adulterer, the writer-director,
yeah,
and
serial adulterer,
and former feminist icon, Joss Whedon, who once again,
yes,
love Buffy, love
yes.
Firefly, love Serenity, love Angel,
yes,
love his astonishing X-Men run. Any jokes we're making are at the expense of the false feminist icon he was purporting to be.
In a statement to the Hollywood Reporter,
And the fact that, like Matt pointed out just before we recorded, since the news has come out, he actually looks more like a monster.
yeah, he, as you said, looks like Thanos now.
Yeah.
But
a tomato version.
do you think the beard is covering up the ridgy chin?
I think so.
He's a tomato
I
Thanos.
think so.
Thanos. Oh, why are you being so cruel about Joss Whedon? But Firefly was so good. When are we getting another series of Firefly?
What? Who was that?
That was all the brown coats.
But why do the brown coats sound like? Do you know what it sounded like? It sounded. You remember the Red Letter Media two-parter on Jack and Jill? You know when Harry Plinkett's twin sister shows up at the end? That's the voice you were doing. That was really weird.
I'm being very cruel.
Isn't that crazy?
I'm being very cruel about people who are obsessed with Firefly.
I love me some Firefly. I wouldn't say I'm obsessed. I bought one toy. That's all.
Are
Leave
you
me
a brown
alone.
coat?
I guess. I guess I am.
No, but are you a brown coat?
Oh,
you put brown coat in your MySpace profile.
Oh, are you doing the leaping up and down on the counter demanding Szechuan sauce kind of thing here?
Yeah.
No, not that far. I've got a Zoe Washburn figure, and that's the extent of my show-offiness.
But that's not because you're a Firefly fan, that's because you're a Gina Torres fan.
She is fucking spectacular. In every sense of the words.
In a statement to the Hollywood Reporter, Joss Whedon
because that's how this news gets out now.
Joss Whedon says, and this is my best Joss Whedon voice, Batgirl is such an exciting project, and Warner's DC such collaborative and supportive partners that it took me months to realise I really didn't have a story. I'm grateful to Jeff and Toby, that's Warner Brothers Picture Group President Toby Emmerich and DC President Jeff Johns, and everyone was so welcoming when I arrived, and so understanding when I, is there a sexier word for failed? No, Joss, there isn't. You failed. You screwed the pooch on this one. You took on a project and went, Batgirl, awesome. Oh, what can I tell you? There's several Batgirls, and there's a multitude of Batgirl stories. Oh God, I don't know what to do. I literally don't know what to write. Do you not know what to write, Joss, or are you a bit tainted? What do you reckon?
I reckon that. Well, I'm surprised he doesn't have a story in mind, simply because like he has written comic books, he's written in those worlds, and he's written really good comic books as well. So it's like he can definitely tap into that mindset. He wrote the Avengers and co-wrote Avengers: Age of Ultron. Originally wrote it, and then it sort of got hijacked a bit. And it would have been interesting to see what his full version was, but at the same time, we got what we got. Blah blah blah. The guy can do this. Like he can do it. If he doesn't have a Batgirl story, it's either because he's feeling the weight of the backlash to the reveals of his adultery, ergo doesn't feel comfortable telling the story of ultimately a big female icon of the DC brand.
Yeah.
Or it's just a rush botch job, and DC are saying, right, so it's going to be in the Elseworld series we're doing, so it's not part of the main DCU.
Oh, God.
And he's just like, I don't know what you want from me, and this is the polite way of him saying, yeah, I just, fuck you guys are confusing, you're muddying the waters, this is ridiculous, goodbye.
What do you want from me?
Now, regardless of where Warner Brothers wants it to go, I love that Twitter's immediate response...
They want it to go to the toppermost of the poppermost.
People putting together lists of predominantly female action directors.
Yeah.
And female drama directors as well.
And people throwing their hats in the ring to write the film.
Yeah.
Author Roxanne Gay has turned around and again, I'll write it.
Gail Simone.
Gail
Someone
Simone's
said
like,
Gail
I've got
Simone
an idea for a Batgirl story.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
And I love the fact that Twitter immediately leapt into that of like, cool, well, you know how you finally got round to doing it right and getting Patty Jenkins to do Wonder Woman? How about you do that for Batgirl? Now, we are not saying that every female superhero movie has to be directed by a female director. We're also not saying every male superhero movie has to be directed by a male director. That's not what we're saying. What we are saying is, this is a character who is usually told, the story is usually told while she's quite young. She's going through a lot of different stuff in her life, or has just come out the back of, like, sort of the teenage years and teenage angst. A writer, at least, never mind the director for a moment, a writer, at least, can get that story across better if they have lived through a bunch of the
stuff.
If
you've got experience of your own to pull from, you can write a better story.
Yeah, so there you go, outright.
Story.
Outright. I mean, obviously, Patty Jenkins never fucking grew up on an island moulded from clay, daughter of Zeus. Like, she never did that. But again, like, she brings, for lack of a less obvious phrase, the feminine touch to Wonder Woman in terms of its approach. To make sure that it is an action movie, but it is an action movie that very much centres around its lead female character. In a way that doesn't feel like, oh, we're just sexing her up.
Yeah, and let's face it, like the industry needs more female directors.
That's not what people do generally as a rule, but it does tend to happen. And you're right, there needs to be more female directors, especially on projects this big.
Yeah,
because the fact that there isn't just shows that there is a pre-existing like bias. There is a pre-existing
and genre projects in general.
Yeah.
I think Lexi Alexander to do it. She loves doing comic book movies.
No. Well, then again, if you gave a Batgirl.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I think she does brutal violence really well, and I don't think that should be in the Batgirl movie.
If this movie is The Killing Joke, again,
fuck.
I think we can all agree to go, wow, you've got no imagination.
That was probably the meetings Joss was having. They were just kept sitting him down and they were going, right, so we want you to do this. And he's like, no.
Will you do The Killing Joke?
No, because that's not a Batgirl story, is it? No, I won't do The Killing Joke.
But we want you to do The Killing Joke, though.
Why? Because it's the story of Batgirl in it.
Because everyone knows that Barbara Gordon gets shot and is crippled.
And that's the movie.
And that's who she is.
All these young kids want to go and see.
No.
That's who all these young men and women want to see as their hero.
Can we leave The Killing Joke? Like just leave it behind forever.
They want to come out and they want to see her get crippled. That's what they want to see because they can understand the tragedy. No.
I mean, this is all purely speculation. None of these conversations might have been happening.
I would admire the fuck out of them if they did an Oracle movie. You don't have to dwell on any of the stuff, but like that would also be like some kind of, oh my god, this is actually sort of showing up like against tropes. If the movie was literally about Oracle, and it like supporting cast was Batman and whatnot, and it's basically about her completely fucking saving the day because she's Oracle, motherfucker.
Or if she's a character in a Birds of Prey movie.
Oh god, yes, that would be amazing actually. All I know is deep down in my heart, I want a Batgirl movie to be a thing. I don't want this. I want this to be something that resurfaces in like 10 years and they go, hey, guess what?
Not like
you remember that DCEU we did that we then folded because it was terrible?
That we retconned.
We're doing individual movies again now and they're all going to be different character pieces and this first one's about Batgirl. Enjoy. and freaking Lexi Alexander is directing it, and Gail Simone's written it. Boom, there you go.
Gail Simone writing a film. Loving it.
Imagine going back in time about 10
Loving
years.
it.
10 years' time, saying to your younger self, hey, guess what? One day, you're going to find out that Joss Whedon is attached to make a Batgirl movie, and you're not going to want to see it. Can you imagine?
I know,
that?
right? Like, but then imagine going back 10 years and saying to your younger self half the shit that's happened in the last year and a half.
Oh, Christ.
Like, the world has just gone crazy.
Don't let Seth Meyers make jokes at Trump's expense at the White House Correspondents' Dinner in 2012. It's going to give him the worst idea ever.
Oh,
That's a joke. Seth Meyers did not force Trump to run, but you could imagine that would be the nail in the coffin.
No, Russia forced Trump to run.
Hey! Now, speaking of villains...
Hey!
Black Panther's been out for a few weeks. You all know that, because you've all seen it.
Yeah.
Probably twice.
Have you not seen it? Have you not seen it?
Should we get them?
I'm speaking to you. Have you not seen Black Panther?
Should we sit them down?
Do we need to have a talk?
The Black Panther
We need to have the Black Panther talk.
Yeah! So, Killmonger is a pretty damn big breakout character in the movie, played by Michael B. Jordan.
He mongers all the kills!
Yeah. Oh God, we have two Marvel villains called Monger.
Is he the best Marvel monger?
Well, we're about to find out.
Oh, are we?
Because we thought, Marvel, I've got a bit of a problem. It's called the villain problem. I've been rewatching with Lou lately the MCU from the start, because Infinity War is going to be out around the time I'm away, actually.
Yeah.
Hang on, no, it comes out end of April, doesn't it?
Oh, God knows. They keep changing the date for the UK.
It's May in America. It's like the first week of May in America, we get it the last week of April.
May in America.
So no,
Whoa.
I will be around for it, yes. But with it on the way, and me disappearing for 2.5 weeks for rehearsals and whatnot,
Oh, no!
it means that I wanted to get a big recap in before I go. So Lucy and I have been scattering the movies, and we're up to Captain America the First Avenger at the minute, and it's been really great revisiting them. And I realised the Marvel villain curse does exist, but there isn't really a formula for it. There are certain coincidences, and there are certain similarities between the ones that don't work. There is also the problem is that the patterns are broken. It used to be, it's boring because the third act is the hero versus an evil mirror version of themselves. And yet, Black Panther, that worked.
Yeah, that
and Ant-Man, that works.
That in and of itself is not necessarily a problem.
No,
it's about execution.
but it is a factor towards some of the duds as well. And it's really odd. So we thought we were going to chat about the MCU stuff, and we just went, do you know what? Let's stick the villains under a microscope and have a little bash.
But I don't have one big enough.
Dirty.
I need to get my pin particles on the job.
Oh, even filthier.
Hey!
We thought we'd have a bash at rating them and deciding once and for all who is the best of the MCU villains. Now, here is the category that we're going with. They've got to have been the lead villain in an MCU movie. So, no Doc Ock, no Dracula, no...
Dracula! From Bram Stoker's Dracula?
No. No. From Sea Juggling Thundersea. Can't have
Blackheart in either Peter Fonda or Kieran Hines flavour.
Yeah, oh God, yeah. It's like basically they have to be
no,
the
that's
MCU
not Blackheart,
movies.
he's Mephisto.
Wait, hang on. He's Mephisto.
Yeah, because Blackheart's the
emo kid.
Emo kid in the
Emo
first
kid.
movie.
So they have to be a main villain in an MCU feature. We're not using any of the televised shows' main villains because they're a little tougher to sort of navigate, and we don't have time to rewatch 4 and a bit seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and both Agent
4 and a bit Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to start with, because big bobbins, most of it, innit?
Yeah. Inhumans we're not counting.
Because no one watched it.
Fair enough.
Let's
just assume that Ramsay Bolton's a runner-up.
Did Inhumans happen?
I'm sure it did. But we will be including Netflix. However, the one draw is we're only going to be able to pick one of the Netflix villains to compete. That's going to be interesting. So as we go,
going to be on that list somewhere.
We're going to be pretty frank. We're going to be pretty direct. We're going to rate them. You say that? We're going to rate them out of 5, and basically the ones with the higher numbers will move on to round 2. Are you ready? So
I'm ready.
Here's how it works. There is one villain per film.
Yes.
Now, of course, there are multiple villains. Like we were talking about Black Panther, you've got Ulysses Claw and you've got Killmonger.
With the sole exception of... There's one movie.
One
villain per movie.
One villain per movie. Because we had to narrow it down. So, like in the case of Black Panther, Killmonger is the main antagonist. Claw is supposedly the main antagonist till we realise, nope, it's Killmonger and it has been all along, and he definitely is, and he's the one who's here for the end game.
He's kind of a henchman.
Yeah, and same with, for example, Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, it's Ronan, it's not Nebula, and
it's not Thanos because he's pulling the strings from behind the scenes.
Yeah, similarly, Iron Man 3, it's Aldrich Killian, it's not the Mandarin, because Aldrich Killian's behind it all, etc., etc. Like, Thor 2, it's Malekith, not Curse. Curse is the henchman, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So, that's how we've narrowed it down.
Curse. You are my number one.
A guy! That would have made the film instantly better.
But in Dark Elvish.
So, that being said, but there is one exception. Loki is the main villain of... I mean, minor spoilers here, obviously, for every MCU movie.
Oh, yeah. Full spoiler warning for all MCU movies that have been released in the cinema up to this date. So basically everything up to and including Black Panther.
Yeah. So Loki may be the baddie in Thor, but the main villain of Thor is Loki.
Loki's not even really the baddie that much, though.
No, but he is the one who kickstarts everything and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
blah, blah. Loki is the villain then in Avengers. So, to make up for the fact we've got one odd one, Iron Man 2, it only makes sense for Iron Man 2 to be Justin Hammer and Whiplash, considering they have pretty much equal stake in the villain side of the story.
Yeah.
Whiplash is the villain, then he's cut short, then Hammer brings him back in for his own nefarious deeds, and then Whiplash last minute pulls a double cross.
Also, like...
Basically, Sam Rockwell's performance was too good to leave out,
Iron Man 2 is like...
Chinese food.
Two
you liked
cakes
it at the
worth
time.
of movie in one cake tin.
Oh, fair enough. I was just like Chinese food. You liked it at the time, but it just slipped your mind.
10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag.
That is not one of the villains.
That's being harsh to Iron Man 2, though. It's not that bad.
Let's go in order, you beautiful man.
Okay.
Iron Man. Ironmonger. I'm not insulting him. That's the name of the villain.
Obadiah Stane.
Obadiah Stane, as portrayed by the lovely Jeff Bridges.
Listen. Jeff Bridges.
It's Jeff Bridges, man.
Played this character from a flimsy script in a studio.
What Matthew's doing is he's sort of misquoting, for comedic purposes, a line of dialogue from the movie. I just wanted to say that because it took me to halfway through him saying it to realise what was happening.
Yes.
Yes. Four-star built like a box of scraps. He's great. He's sinister as balls.
As always, Jeff Bridges is great.
But Ironmonger does lose some points instantly because this is a character movie solely about Tony Stark. It's not even about Iron Man. It's not about being a superhero. Yeah. It's about one man trying to change a legacy that he was completely bought into until his eyes were opened.
Tries to change the legacy of his family.
Now, it is nice because throughout the majority of the film, you're just like, oh god, like, Jeff Bridges' character is having to mop up Tony's decisions here. He's cancelling all the weapons, this, that, the other, and like all their companies been built on. And God, they're gonna end up like coming at loggerheads at some point. There's gonna be an argument, and then 2/3 into the movie, you find out, oh wait, he's actually behind everything.
He's evil and has been evil all along.
He sent Tony to the Ten Rings to be killed.
Yeah, get him out of the way. Then I can take the company for myself, my bald self, my big bad bald self. I think he does get points for being big, bad, and bald.
Yeah, and beautiful. And bearded.
And beautiful, and
all
bearded.
Bees.
Lots of bees.
All bees.
Has a lovely big mech suit, which is a big roided up version of the Iron Man.
Which at this point isn't a trope or an overused thing, because it's the first time.
The first one.
And also, it feels very out of character in a way where it's like, how is he mastering that so quick? Because it's the first time he puts it on.
But I think they've deliberately made it to be sort of user-friendly.
Yeah.
So anyone can just jump in it. Because you want to sell a weapon that anyone can just jump in and use.
Yeah, that's
Minimum
true.
of training.
But that being said, then it is literally just a stroppy businessman when you boil it down.
Yeah.
In a punching suit.
His motivation is, grrr, I want the money and the power.
Like, what's he going to do at the end? If he kills Tony and Pepper and blows up like the arc reactor and stuff, what happens then? He's arrested for killing people.
Yeah.
Not a great plan, in the words of Tony Stark. 4 films later. I think he sits at a nice even 3 out of 5.
Yeah,
I think he sits in the
very,
3.
he's very middle of the road.
It's a great performance.
good performance,
But it's not like people aren't going, oh my god, I loved Ironmonger.
yeah.
So it doesn't stick around. I think Jeff Bridges gets a nice, cosy 3.
Looks good in a suit. Looks good bald. Nice beard.
Incredible Hulk. Tim Roth as Emil Blonsky
/
the Abomination. This is an interesting one. So he's called Blonsky, but they make an explicit effort the moment he arrives on screen to explain Russian-born, raised in England.
Yeah. So Tim Roth doesn't have to do an accent.
Yeah. Blonsky is a soldier who's...
Even though, let's be honest, Tim Roth fucking loves doing accents.
He does. He's never been promoted.
Nope.
Because he doesn't suit... He says he doesn't suit sitting behind a desk making decisions.
He likes being on the battlefield.
He likes being on the battlefield.
Hungry for combat.
Because he's like, how old are you, soldier? 45. And he's like, 39, sir. And it's like, right, okay. It's like, oh, fuck. Like, there's this like moment of, oh.
You look like shit
You
for
look like
39.
shit for 39. So already we've got the first MCU baddie he's not got a scheme. But Blonsky's the first MCU baddie who isn't scheming. Because here's the thing as well.
Yeah.
Something MCU seems to be missing is evil villains. Grey areas are brilliant if the story's told right.
Selfish villains, certainly.
Yeah, but I do miss a bit of muhaha villainy every now and again. Blonsky is one of the few MCU villains who is mustache-twirling villain.
Oh, yeah.
Because he sees what Banner can become. He's like, why the does he deserve that?
It's like, I want it!
I should have that.
I want to be powerful like that!
So
That's a common motivation in the MCU, though, as well.
Yeah, but also, how does he get his powers? Botched leftover readings from the Super Soldier experiments.
Oh, yeah!
Nicely, beautifully setting up what was to come. So Blonsky basically becomes Captain America in the first fight scene with Hulk where it's toe-to-toe, and it's the first time you see the Hulk properly. It's an hour into the movie.
Yeah.
Blonsky's basically Captain America. Like, he's leaping around, he's punching the Hulk, he's
US
smashing
agent.
stuff into him. Yeah, well. And then he pushes it, and he pushes Tim Blake Nelson, bless his eyes. Is it Tim Blake Nelson?
Yeah.
Yeah. And bless his eyes, and the gash on his nose that makes his brain swell. That they're probably never going to touch on, which is really stupid.
Yeah. We'll never get the leader.
Make him an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. villain. Like, make him a series-long villain for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Have the leader be a villain in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be good.
And then find a way to bring in freaking
No, it would
She-Hulk.
be shit, though, because it's Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
And find a way to bring in She-Hulk and blow the effects budget on the last 2 episodes having She-Hulk in it.
No, because...
And then put her in a Netflix show. Oh my god! You have a Daredevil episode with She-Hulk as a guest star. Because Daredevil has been in the Defenders, we know that magical stuff exists now. Just do it. Just do it.
It's not going to happen, though.
It won't happen, but we can do it.
Because that would be good.
We can do it. So he gets all powerful, and obviously ingests stuff that is not meant for him, and grows into the Abomination. Well, that would be some kind of abomination. Name drop! Because at this point, they're still frightened to give the villains names.
Yeah.
We're ironmongers, Tony, that's what we are! It's
Yeah.
like, there we go. It'd be some kind of abomination. Which then in the Marvel one-shot, the consultant, they say like, that he wants Blonsky. The Abomination? It's like, well, there we go, they've said it. Cool.
He's the Abomination.
He's a lot of fun. However, we only get one scene of the Abomination.
Yeah.
Which is ultimately what he's destined to be.
And he's a bit one-note.
He's a bit one-note.
Decent fight.
He's a lot of fun, and he's very well performed. However... And I would love to see him again. I would love to see him again.
Yeah, I'd love to see him.
I think a nice, comfortable 2 out of 5.
He's not as...
That doesn't mean he's bad. He's just...
He's fun,
fine.
but he's not as... Yeah.
Yeah. He's fine, and it'd be nice to see him again. Part of me still thinks that one of the Infinity War movies should have a bit where, like, a bunch of the villains are just used.
Yeah.
Like, you've got enough imprisoned MCU villains now to do Breakout.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of Breakout, the Breakout character of Iron Man 2 was... Well,
My bird.
Well, it was the bird.
It was the bird.
It was Don Cheadle, who is actually really good in that movie.
Don Cheadle's really good in every movie.
Even though he looks so old now.
No, he doesn't, though.
He looks so old. Don Cheadle looks frail.
He's just a slender man.
Don Cheadle looks frail.
No, he's the Slender Man.
Fuck Knuckles!
No!
Justin Hammer.
Knuckles.
Justin Hammer. Sam Rockwell.
Yes.
Great. Ineffective.
Yes.
What makes him an interesting villain is he's more like traditional Riddler level kind of villain. Like, he can go toe to toe with the villain, with the hero. He can mess up their life. He can add obstacles in their way.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's out of a petty jealousy to prove that he's the better one.
Yeah.
So he's not a great villain as far as like villainy is concerned. He's more a nuisance, but his performance is really good. He's got the tech, but even
It's just a bit ineffectual.
even Ivan
isn't it?
Venko is able to use that against him. So I think Justin Hammer.
2 out of 5.
I think he's a 2. Now Whiplash.
1 out of 5.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
He's definitely one of the more memorable MCU villains.
Is he though?
And it's because of Mickey Rourke's quirks. Or Rourke's quirks.
Yeah, but that's kind of
Not to be confused with Rourke's Quark, which is where once a month Mickey Rourke, who's a huge Deep Space Nine and Voyager fan, pays money for Armin Shimmerin to come to his house, dress up as Quark, and just say lines at him.
females.
Oh my god! It's Strax! Space Strax!
Yes.
I see. I wouldn't put Whiplash amongst the worst, but definitely not amongst a contender.
I
Whiplash is completely singularly motivated. He wants to kill Stark's legacy.
He's a bit boring. Like
Once he's done that, what's he got left?
Yeah.
There's no aspirations there. There's nowhere to go. I think a 2, because he is more memorable, even if he isn't that effective. Doesn't really matter. He's not going to make it into the final because we've already got someone who's a 3. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna give him a 2. I don't
kick him out the door.
screw you, son. I'm giving him a 2.
I'll never forgive
Mostly
you.
because my board.
My board.
Want the Thor, son?
Yeah.
This is tough because we've got 2 movies to rate Loki from.
Yeah.
I would like to rule this one out, if possible.
No.
Because Loki is the... No, because we're going to rate him in Avengers. Loki is the villain of Thor,
Yeah, but when we
for
rate
sure.
him in Avengers, can we take into account
The events of Thor. Absolutely.
Alright, okay.
I don't think on the events of Thor alone he could get a score, because I think in Thor he is, drums please, kind of unmemorable.
You're wrong.
Oh no.
And I'll tell you for how. And I'll tell you for why. You're wrong because of
Why am I doing this face?
Tom Hiddleston's performance and a neat script with... It is sort of like...
Thor is the ironing movie of Phase 1.
It is...
It's the movie you stick on in the background whilst you put some shirts to rights.
Like, the drama between them, like the brother familial drama, is sort of hammy and melodramatic and high camp. But that's what makes it so fun.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. He's in a weird place in terms of his villainous scheme in Thor, because you think he's trying to usurp Thor, and ultimately that's what he wants. He wants to best his brother's position. But here's the thing: in that movie, this really got me. He only finds out he's a frost giant.
Yeah.
Halfway through the film.
Yeah.
And yet he was the one who allowed frost giants into Asgard in the first place. So he wanted to start a war to ruin Thor's big day. So his original scheme simply was, he wanted to start a war, he knew Thor would be hot-headed, and then he would ascend to the throne himself.
because he thinks he's a better king.
But then when he finds out he's part frost giant,
Yeah.
he allows the frost giants to come and attack Asgard during the Odin sleep,
Yeah.
but then kills them.
Yeah.
Why?
To set himself up as a hero, so the people will love him. He wants people to love him. He wants his father to tell him well done. He wants people to love him, and he wants to be respected.
That sounds less like a villain to me and more like the actions of a child. Which is arguably is kind of where his story arc is there.
That makes him it makes a sound motivation.
But then out of sheer pettiness and pride, he allows himself to fall and not be saved. Which leads to when he actually starts to go full blown villain. Kinda.
Okay.
That's my argument in terms of. Now that's not to knock him down, but we will get to him again in just a moment. Put a pin in Loki.
I haven't got one. I'll put your badge in him.
Oh God, you would as well.
I'll put this wall screw in him.
Oh, don't. He's not deserved that.
Screw Loki.
Oh God.
I've seen that Tumblr. All right, so we'll put a pin in Loki, which brings us to
Hugo Weaving as the Red Skull in Captain America: The First Avenger.
like a solid 3 out of 5 because
This is a muhaha baddie though.
Hugo Weaving's a lot of fun. He's a muhaha baddie.
He loses points by being, he's so evil, he's trying to out-evil Hitler. It's
Yeah.
like, Okay, film, you didn't have
He's
to
like,
do that.
I've got a massive plane with massive bombs that are also planes!
To be fair, he's also the only human to like properly wield the cosmic cube. That's kind of
For about
impressive.
2 seconds?
Yeah, but that's still kind of impressive in terms of like
Before it melts
stuff he
him.
does. And he does command Hydra in its then incarnation.
He does
so
command Hydra.
He does have an evil army, and they're not all CGI grey things. Like, they're real people, and the punches sound solid, and the weapons are fucking terrifying. Like, they shoot people and they just evaporate into blue mist.
And
like,
he's got a massive car.
And he has got a massive car.
Massive car.
He's got
though.
an evil scientist henchman.
Yeah.
He's got a rubber face over his actual face.
Which is also a rubber face.
He's ticking some pretty big comic book, like, Muhaha villain boxes.
Yeah.
But I gotta agree with you there. Aside from being a foil to Captain America, he is just like, oh, I'm Magic Hitler! Okay. But you're reminding us that Hitler exists, so now we're having to compete this fictional evil guy against the real atrocities of an actual human in our heads. And
so I'm
it does
more
take away from
evil.
it.
Yeah.
Like, they could reference Hitler because obviously it's World War II, but he literally is like, no, we're gonna usurp the Fuhrer and screw him over, and it's just like, yeah, you lose some
points there.
Lose some points. So I think again, like Obadiah Stane, a
Twat
solid
point.
3. Da-da-dun, 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 low key. Now,
low key.
Now here's where it gets confusing. You have to forget the next 2 stories featuring this character, I think.
No, you don't.
You do. And I'll tell you for why. We're
Why?
rating him as the villain of the movie The Avengers.
Yes.
And also, it looks like he's heading to a redemption arc, which would knock him down some points as a baddie. Not in terms of storytelling, but if we are looking at this as simply black and white, who's the best villain of the MCU, I think we have to pigeonhole him a little bit more into his villainy days.
I don't know. I don't think a villain having a redemption arc makes him any less of a villain.
No, I agree, but
As like in terms of like how good is this villain in this story?
I agree. But if we were pitting them against each other in that kind of way, for example, if we were like, right, you versus you, who would wipe the frickin' floor with them? Loki has tricks up his sleeve, but he also is kind of like, he's now on that, oh, what do I do? I'm unsure of my future.
Loki.
He becomes more of a glory hog by the time Thor Ragnarok rolls around.
Loki is a high 4 out of 5. And I'll
Yes.
tell you for how,
Yes.
and I'll tell you for why.
He's Prince John.
Again.
He's Prince John.
He is Prince John.
Yeah.
He's been through some shit, he's got something to prove, he's got tricks up his sleeve, he's very formidable, but not unstoppable.
Yeah, I mean, as
He's-
proved
he's
by
for-
this,
he's formidable, yeah.
He's not technically the man behind everything in this movie.
He's formidable
He's
enough.
obeying Thanos' will in this film.
But still, he's formidable
Yeah.
enough to be a credible threat, and even cause the death of one of our leadish characters. And make you think that he could defeat everyone.
Yeah.
But can be stopped, and is in part stopped by his own hubris. And I love it when villains are stopped by their own hubris.
Plus, he's one of the few villains that really gets, like, he's one of the few villains who is the villain from the beginning, really obviously. This is the bad guy, here he is fully formed at the start.
Yeah.
Like, we don't witness him on a journey in Avengers. He is the obstacle.
Is that why you?
Because he's not the main story.
Is that why you want to take Thor into account? Because it gives you more of a journey.
Thor is his journey, but what makes him really effective as a villain in the Avengers is that the film starts and there's the bad guy.
I'd argue he's more.
It's very Bond.
I'd
in
argue
that
it'd
way.
still be a high 4 without Thor, because
Yeah. Oh yeah.
he is,
yeah. I agree.
He is just such a. Like,
I mean,
the
the
Avengers
first
is such
shot-
a well-constructed film.
The
and
first
he
shot
fits
of
into
him,
it so well.
the first
yeah.
shot of him in the Avengers, just lands like arrives at the teleport and just looks up, and it's just so he looks like Loki in that first shot, 10 times more than he ever did in Thor.
He's lupine. He's wolf-like.
Yeah, like in
Yeah.
Thor, he's got the silhouette, and in the end, he's got the daft helmet, and it really clearly affects the performance.
And he gets
in
the daft
final
helmet.
fight.
He gets the daft helmet in this, and it's great.
It's great, but also it's that
Love the
first
daft
shot.
helmet.
You're like, oh, there he is. Like that's the guy who
Yeah,
stops mid panel and stares at Bill Bunn of Bills directly in the eye in Latverian Prometheus. There's the terrifying mother trucker.
Yeah.
There he is. So, Loki's a solid 4. He's a solid 4.
High 4.
So we're talking so far. Loki's a top contender. I think we have to get 4s now to narrow it down.
It's okay, because we're gonna come into some quality villains.
And some not so quality villains.
Oh, well. Right, so what we got next?
Iron Man 3! Aldrich Killian. What?
1 out of
Not
5.
the Mandarin. No, not the Mandarin, because the Mandarin ain't a villain. The Mandarin is the perceived villain, and that's the point. The story pulls the rug out from underneath you.
The whole thing of the decoy Mandarin and the Trevor Slattery reveal is fucking genius.
Yeah.
And it's so well executed.
And we say that as people who love the comics, and I would like to see a live-action version of something akin to the
But
Mandarin
that
at some
character's
point.
so problematic.
But that's what I'm saying, like something akin to the Mandarin, even if it's just the mystic element of the Ten Rings, and utilise it, because we know that thanks to the All Hail the King or whatever it's called, the Marvel one shot.
Yeah, there is a Mandarin.
There is a Mandarin out there, and it's likely that Mandarin is the head of a cult like the Ten Rings, who we met in Iron Man. It's a military, it's a militia. Like he's the head of them. There is some symbolic iconography going on amongst their designs and the looks. It's entirely possible that the Mandarin is somebody out there who's probably got 10 rings akin to the stuff you see in Doctor Strange, maybe.
10 magic rings.
Because now because of Doctor Strange, we know magic exists in some form in this universe.
Yeah.
The Mandarin's probably just like a fallen.
But they're not magic rings.
Maybe...
They're alien technology.
Well, that's how you get around it in the MCU.
Yeah.
The Mandarin could be this seemingly ageless being because he was last heard of existing in ancient China or whatever.
Yeah.
And has effectively been immortal, and he's been living quietly. And so, do you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be a Fu Manchu caricature, yellow menace, horrible stereotype from the era he came from.
And having read some early Tales of Suspense recently, Jesus, was he that?
Yeah, but he could still be a Chinese character using this ancient name and position and whatnot, and because he's just more mystic, and it's nothing to do with China's not the reason he is called the Mandarin. It's more to do with his name or whatever. There are ways to do it, I think.
I think there's modern incarnations of that character in the comics that have done a bit better. But it's hard to detach him from that history.
Cast a megastar in Chinese cinema in the role. Because we're always trying to blend American cinema with Chinese cinema and stuff.
Not even
now.
blend America with Chinese cinema, just insert scenes that are only for the Chinese
market.
But
that would be an amazing way to be okay, we are going to stick true to parts of the character's heritage, but we're also going to introduce Hollywood and the Western cinematic world to a star from Chinese cinema.
Yeah.
And do something which we need to do more of, which is introduce international stars across the board.
But we're not talking about what we're gonna do with the Mandarin.
Aldrich Killian, but I hate it when people say Aldrich Killian / the Mandarin. When he says, you want the Mandarin, I am the Mandarin, he's not saying, I'm the Mandarin. He's saying, I'm the fucking thing you were looking for. It's me. That's the point he's making. He's not claiming to be the Mandarin, is he?
No.
People keep saying, the thing I think that confused people is because he's got a massive Chinese dragon tattoo on his chest. Yeah. Everyone assumes that he's going see, this is how we're getting around it. And it's no, you're Aldrich Killian. You're an evil scientist with the extremist virus as a weapon. That's who you are. Guy Pearce does a great job in the movie.
I like Guy Pearce.
Even when he's playing Jim Carrey / Jamie Foxx in the opening few minutes.
Yeah.
Actually, no, Jamie Foxx is playing him.
It is Edward Ingber from Batman Forever.
That's not gonna be good for me.
It's just,
albeit with goofier teeth.
His motivation's weak to the point of being non-existent.
He has some good scenes, and the visuals of him, the final fight between him and Tony, and then him and Pepper, is really cool. But he's I think he's our first one.
Yeah, he's just a bit dull.
Yeah, he's not terrible, but he's I think Iron Man 3 is about Tony Stark.
I think.
And Pepper Potts.
Aldrich
That's
Killian.
what Iron Man 3 is about.
Aldrich Killian is the weak point of what I think is a very strong script generally.
Yeah.
I really like Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
But it just drops the ball with Aldrich. He's just not interesting at all.
Now, speaking of not interesting at all.
Fuck me sideways.
Thor: The Dark Worlds.
Malekith
the Accursed. A character in the comics who's a dark elf. He's usually portrayed as gleeful, sadistic, capricious. He's more of a Rumpelstiltskin kind of character.
Yeah.
I don't mean diminutive and stuff, but I mean he enjoys what he's doing.
Mischievous, but not in a mischievous, I'm gonna trick you sort of way. Mischievous, I'm gonna trick you and then I'm gonna cut your fucking throat kind of way.
He's Loki if Loki preferred getting his hands dirty
Oh yeah.
to having having the high ground. Like Loki prefers to be, yes, I win the day, and I'm gloating. Whereas Malekith is more like, I win the day. Wait, no, he's still alive. One moment. I've rendered his head from his shoulders.
Yeah,
I am the villain. For some reason, this movie makes him a stoic, quiet, only Elven-speaking character.
He's just really, really boring. The most boring motivation.
Like the way they get around is because he's branded basically, isn't he? The reason his face is half the way it is in the comics is to do with like he is a curse. Like it's like, no, you are sick and wrong, and we're going to put this branding on you and stuff. In this, it's literally just like burns from a fight with Thor, or whatever. It's like, okay, is this how you? He's uninteresting, and the biggest crime of all. Really, because this movie is one of the two MCU movies for me.
Yeah,
Iron Man 2 and Thor: The Dark World. They're just and the biggest kick in the teeth of all is who is under the prosthetics. Yeah, like you give Christopher Eccleston a role like this,
fuck all to do,
and he's got fuck all to do. And the thing is, you can see he's trying. You can see he's trying really hard
because he always is.
It doesn't come across as a bad performance, but overall, because of the story, because of the breadth of stuff the character actually does or doesn't do,
you just take
even just the lack of scenes of English-speaking confrontation with the other characters.
It's just like you don't get any sense of stakes of his relationship with Thor and now why he's so down on that, other than like, oh well, your dad stopped me from destroying the universe, so now I don't like you anymore. Oh, and your mum's dead.
Now on the top Trump's basics level, he does score villain points for wielding one of the Infinity Stones. Like,
oh wow.
No. But like, if we were looking at it from a top Trump's level, it's like he's one of the more powerful villains of the MCU.
Still my raging erection for that particular tidbit.
I mean, you do have an erection.
Yeah, I always have an erection.
That's true. I mean, you have to rub it on the mic. Saucy minx.
That was my finger, by the way.
It's like if we're looking at it from that top Trump's level, he's one of the more powerful villains we encounter in the MCU.
Yeah.
He has an entire army behind him and a really freaking cool henchman in the form of Curse.
Yeah, cool looking, but like an entire army of
still the best character that actor's played. The best comic book character he played.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name now, but he's the guy who played Killer Croc.
Yeah.
He's
just got an army of faceless drones.
Is the ultimate downside to it, yeah. And also, I mean, and he gets bonus points for killing Freya. Like, he murders Thor's mum, Frigga, even.
Yeah.
So it's like, he does stuff, but he's a one, man.
Yeah, he's just like, I want to get the MacGuffin and destroy
have a genuinely
everything.
Interesting kind of fight scene in Greenwich.
Yeah, like there's some.
But it isn't interesting because of him. It's interesting because of the teleporting. And Mjolnir flying past a cat. Denny's going meow meow.
But also,
I don't hate Darcy.
I'm one
of the few people who doesn't hate Darcy.
But it's like, oh well, is he trying to destroy the universe or return it to darkness? Like, is that a metaphor or a euphemism, or is he just trying to turn out all the lights?
And why can't these villains be having fun? Is the other thing. Speaking of villains who aren't having fun, but certainly are stronger.
Any fun?
The best film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, don't at me. Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I can see that.
Has a few bad guys in it. It's got the man who will be Crossbones. It's got Batroc.
Sleeper!
No, just Batroc in this.
No, Batroc.
But he's wearing the colours, and his fight is a kickboxing match with Captain America.
Yeah.
Lest we forget, that happens, and it's great.
The late Gary Shandling.
Yeah, reprising his role from Iron Man 2 in one of those beautiful thingy buildings. Sitwell, finally, like... We're like, oh, hang on, that recurring guy who's been in the shows and in all the films, like... He was Hydra?
Oh my God. Or get thrown out of a car better.
Yeah. Nice. But of course, the main villain of Captain America 2 is it's Alexander Pierce. Winter Soldier is the villain of the movie, but...
Is he, though?
But, exactly. It turns out he's the Vader
Yeah.
He's the Darth Vader.
But then
He's the henchman.
I guess Darth Vader is the villain of Star Wars when you think
Darth
about it.
Vader is the villain of Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back to a degree.
Yeah.
But the villain is the Emperor. Like it's
Yeah.
So like it's in this case. In this case, it's Alexander Pierce because he's the one who's pulled the trigger. He's the one who's seeded Hydra into S.H.I.E.L.D. over the course of the decades and is the one in charge of the moment it all turns. And he's the one who ultimately is like, yeah, I'm going to press this switch and 3 helicarriers are going to go and bomb the shit out of the majority of America.
Yeah.
He's the bad guy. So, although why were they targeting Stephen Strange if he was just a surgeon at that point?
He's a very good surgeon.
Mm,
Maybe, even though he was a bit of a cunt, he might have had, like...
Maybe he was... At no point in Doctor Strange do they suggest when that film takes place. So he might already have been the Sorcerer Supreme. Doctor Strange could have taken place pre-Captain America Winter Soldier.
Possibly.
There's nothing in there that says when it is in the MCU.
Yeah, because there's that bit about the soldier with the broken spine, but I think they say something that contradicts that could be Rhodey.
Yeah, well, it can't be Rhodey. That's way too soon, I guess.
Yeah.
I think it makes more sense for Doctor Strange to have taken place earlier in the timeline.
Yeah.
Because then the scene in Ragnarok, where he's completely comfortable and he's the Sorcerer Supreme, looking out over New York, it's like, okay, fair enough. Like you've been doing this for a few years now.
Yes.
Meat.
And his
Meat.
His cool gloves.
His cool ass gloves.
Not
his ass gloves. He wore them when he was a physician. No,
they were clean gloves.
Yeah. Alexander Pierce is the villain. He pulls the trigger. Robert Redford, again, great performance. Really good and perfect for that story.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect for that story because Captain America the Winter Soldier is a political thriller with punching.
Yeah, but it's actually not a story about villains, so as a villain, he's not that...
No.
He works very well in that story, but he's not necessarily a great
villain.
He's not a great baddie.
I think performance is a given. Excellent. I think he's a solid 2.
I think he's a solid 2.
He's a solid 2. He's a great bad guy, and again, in that story, works so well, and he gets some brilliant scenes as a character and as a performance opposite Samuel L. Jackson and stuff, and he's really good, but he's a 2. Guardians of the Galaxy, Ronan, the Accuser. People of Xandar, you stand accused.
I want to give him a 2.
Lee Pace does a great job through all that makeup.
Because he is a bit dull.
Yeah, that's the thing here. He's powerful, and he's probably got the best introductory scene for a Marvel villain. Because again, the moment we meet him, he's a baddie.
Yeah.
Like, he's already a baddie. He's an enforcer of Thanos.
Executing the
He's hanging out with Thanos' daughters.
Oh, not the
like he's their boss.
Yeah.
So he's obviously that badass that Thanos is like, you take my inbred assassin daughters and go and do shit with them. Inbred's the wrong word.
They're not inbred.
Mind fucked.
Brainwashed
and cyberized.
Cybs.
Cyborgized. Cyborgies.
They're Cybermen.
Cybermen. So yeah.
Cyberwoman.
Cyberwoman. Not Cyberwoman. Never Cyberwoman.
Remember Chibnall.
The Adventures of Cybergirl.
Oh God.
And a plucky sidekick, Matt. Did you get it, Matt?
I'm not being any cyber sidekick.
The first thing we see him do is crush someone's head with his hammer.
Yeah,
we actually see him in an accuser. We see him in the accuser role briefly. Like he actually does he's judge, jury, and executioner.
Yeah.
To a Nova pilot.
Is it a Nova pilot? I can't remember.
It's either a Nova's pilot or a Kree.
It's not a Kree because he's a Kree.
He is Kree. Yeah, I think it's a Nova pilot. Must be. But
Xandaran. He is Xandaran of some colour.
Again, Top Trump's point of view, he wields an Infinity Stone at one point. Like, he's pretty freaking powerful. He can hold his own against the Guardians of the Galaxy and a big chunk of the Nova Corps fleet.
Even without the Infinity Stone.
He gets to deliver some really killer moments in the film. Yeah. Like, the whole, what the hell are you doing?
Oh man, that dance fight is so good.
Like, so he's you know what I mean? He's got some good stuff in there, but ultimately, again, kind of forgettable. I wouldn't give him a 1 because he's definitely better than Killian and Malekith.
Yeah, he's a bit more fun.
I think he's a 2.
Yeah,
He's a 2.
I think he's a little. He just edges into a 2 because he's just a little more interesting.
Yeah.
He's still a bit dull.
And again,
but he's just a little more fun
like a lot of
than
the
they
first films in the MCU, the film isn't about him at all.
No, it's about the Guardians. He's just
it's about them coming together. He is the MacGuffin of the script.
He's a dude for them to
looking
fight.
for the MacGuffin of the movie.
Yeah.
Now this guy, he's got a lot of weight on his shoulders because the whole freaking movie's about him. His name's in the title. Avengers:
What?
Age of Ultron. James Spader's performance is great.
Yeah.
He's good. He is unnerving and darkly funny. Ultron is a force to be reckoned with. Like it's a sentient computer that is continuing to learn and improve itself, so that even if you throw the God of Thunder at it, he'll be able to fight the God of Thunder.
Yeah.
That in itself is a really cool threat. He is able to hijack all of Stark's security fleet and turn them into basically drones of Ultron.
Yep.
So he turns the hero stuff against them. Once again, another Stark creation goes wrong.
He makes more Ultrons!
He does. He is able, in his Scarlet Hood, or whatever it's called, thing, to Crimson Hood, or whatever he's called in the comics.
Crimson Cloak.
Crimson Cloak, that was it.
Yeah.
He wears that briefly, but in the comics, he brings people on side. In this case, Quicksilver and the Scarlet Witch. Like, he manipulates that. Like, he's a computer, but he's still able to emotionally manipulate them enough to get them on his side.
He's a very human machine.
Yeah, he rips off Andy Serkis' arm in a scene that is actually... That moment is actually like, oh, God!
Yeah.
But... Quippy, nicey, funny, less scary.
Yeah. If he was a little...
less Tony Stark.
I kind of like
work.
that he's funny.
It's different.
Because
it's definitely different from the books.
Because he is an evil robot Tony.
And in the books, he is more like, I am Ultron 5, I will destroy you all.
A bit more glossy.
So it's nice that in this he's more like, oh, please, like, I'm going to destroy you the moment you step forward, you bag of shit. I am Ultron.
Physically vomit.
And they made my mouth more human. They made his mouth more human.
Yeah.
Which was cool. So it was like, oh, that's how they're going to do his very distinct face.
I think you
but also, it kind of needed to just go...
Yeah.
At least once. Would have been nice.
Well, you get a little sense of that when he's original smashed up, taken over Iron Legion
visually,
robot.
he's fascinating.
Oh, yeah.
Because we get different looks at him as well, different styles.
I'm tilted to give Ultron a 3, because I don't think he's the problem with that movie.
No. Problem with that movie is chuffer, in the words of Bruce Willis.
Chuffer.
Too
much chuffer.
Yeah,
too much executive modelling.
I think he's a comfy 3.
I think if they'd have just tweaked the balance... Little tweak of the balance between his quippiness and his threateningness.
Quippiness is next to godliness.
Yes, I think he might have edged a 4. But I think he has a pretty decent plan. He's just
loves to edge it.
Get a big chunk of rock, wipe out the human race, start again. He's not like, destroy for the sake of it. It's like, no, you've kind of fucked this up. I'm going to do something new. I'm a new form of life. I'm going to repopulate the earth with myself.
You programmed me to save the planet, and the best way to do that is to eradicate the one thing that is harming it.
Yeah.
Humanity. We'll kill you, and whatever rises up next, I'll join them, I'll look after them, and we'll make sure that it works out.
I'll create them. I'll create my own form of life. I'll Ultron the world.
I created you. And I can destroy you!
Yes. Yeah, I like Ultron. Not
now,
a problem in that film.
We're back to the mirror villains again. We're into Ant-Man.
I'm seriously into Ant-Man. I like that movie a lot.
What's the character called again?
Damien
Cross, played by Corey Stoll.
Who's great.
Who's having a ball. Now,
Really
here's where the fun comes back into the villains. This guy is evil.
Yeah.
Like, he's evil.
Yeah.
It's a corporate takeover. It's another villain in a suit, to a point. But he's having fun doing it. And that makes him a little more interesting. I don't think he's a 4. I think he's a 3. But he's a damn good 3.
He's got a bit of that daddy complex going on there.
Yeah, and he gets a really gruesome death.
Yeah.
Yellow Jacket is great. He is pretty great, but again, he suffers a bit from the exact mirror of the superhero thing to a point. But what makes it work for this one is it's not oh, our journey was the same. I just chose to do this. I'm choosing to do this because it's fun.
Yeah,
and
there
that
is
makes
a sense of
you
him
know,
becoming slightly more unhinged as it goes on, and they do sort of try and make that. Oh, it's his exposure to the pin particles, but I think
But he was already blowing sheep up.
Yeah,
Like,
I think he was already a bit unstable.
Yeah,
and it's just kind of.
I mean, Christ, doesn't he try to sell off the tech to Hydra?
The highest bidder, mate.
Yeah, so like he's got those kind of connections.
Oh yeah,
it's like there we go.
He's unscrupulous.
I think comfy 3.
Comfy 3.
So as we're edging out of phase 2, we don't have anyone on Loki's level yet. We may have to bring in a few 3s. We'll see how we go.
We'll see how we get.
We won't. There'll be fools. Captain America 3: Civil War. Arguably, there is no villain in this movie, simply because the movie's about the inner conflict within all of our protagonists.
Except that there is, because Zemo
but there is.
each other.
Yeah. Now, Baron Zemo in the comics is an old school Captain America villain. There's been 2 of them, the original and his son.
He's got a hood stuck to his face with adhesive X.
Yeah, and he looks
Can't
creepy
get
as
it
sin.
off.
He's very classical, swords, pistols, like leopard print freaking designs on the handle of his guns and stuff. Like, he's a really cool villain when you put him in charge of like the the Masters of Evil and characters like that. He's a lot of fun.
And then he becomes Citizen V and leads the Thunderbolts for a little bit.
Yeah. Oh god.
He's like, I'm a hero now, but I'm still really a villain, or am I? Conflict.
In this film, he's not that. His name is borrowed for a Sokovian father and husband who has been a soldier. He's been in tactical units, like he's been in the Sokovian military.
He's military intelligence, wasn't he? And
yeah, so he's an intelligence operative. He's done field work. He's done stuff from behind the desk and behind computer screens. He works with the data, and he also like gets stuck in and blah blah blah. And his objective in this movie isn't to kill anyone or rule the world. It's they killed my family in the events of Age of Ultron.
I'm going to make them tear themselves apart.
Yeah, he doesn't even want them to necessarily kill each other.
No.
He just wants them to be gone. Like, he wants to get rid of the Avengers.
And wants them to, fall from grace in the eyes of the world.
Yeah. And how he does that is setting up a bunch of little individual chess pieces, and then the game starts and leaves Tony and Steve to play it out, basically. However, his actions do result in stuff that would be declared villainous.
Yeah.
He's not doing it from a villainous perspective. He manages... He's the first one of these heroes to genuinely break the Avengers. Like, they are screwed.
And I think,
he shifts the dynamic of the entire MCU.
Revenge is one of those where it can be a villainous motivation, but also a...
The protagonist's... story as well.
The mere revenge thing.
However, it does result in the creation of the Black Panther at the death of the old one.
Yeah.
It involves a bunch of the Avengers being incarcerated and Cap going into hiding.
Yeah.
Rhodey gets crippled. Vision's future is unsure.
Yeah.
Like, he really screws everyone over here.
I think the only thing...
And he's able to utilise the Winter Soldier, who was the wrecking ball of the Winter Soldier.
I was going to say that the only thing that stops him from being a 4 is a lack of screen time, but fuck it, I'm going to give him a 4.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure how he's going to match up when it comes to
I really like Daniel
going head-to-head
Bruhl.
with people, but Daniel Bruhl,
I really like Daniel Bruhl. I really like... I know people complained about, Zemo doesn't really do anything, and he's not got his mask, and he's not Baron Zemo. But fuck that.
That's alright, like, these movies can take some liberties, and fair enough. Like, you could always, if you wanted, if later on they decide to sort of bring him a bit more practically into it, they could do a version of it.
It's a pragmatic adaptation of a strange character.
Von Strucker appears in Age of Ultron. Big Captain America villain. And he's in it briefly, and then he's killed off screen.
Yeah.
Arnim Zola, big Captain America villain, is utilised in a minor supporting capacity, and is more effective because of it.
You know why? Because a lot of these characters from the comics aren't actually that interesting. And don't necessarily warrant direct adaptation.
There's a reason why if you say to people name comic book baddies, they always name either Spider-Man or Batman villains.
Yeah.
Because not every villain is as memorable as those guys. But Zemo is pretty damn great. It's going to be interesting to see how he fares later, but we'll see.
Yeah, I like Zemo. I'm going to give him a 4. Fuck it.
Doctor Strange.
Caecilius.
Played
Mads
by
Mikkelsen,
Mads
just
Mikkelsen.
being fucking great, but bit thin in it.
Yeah,
Bit
I mean,
thin.
he's. Some people will be like, probably listening now, going, "Hang on, Dormammu. Dormammu's not the villain.
No,
Dormammu would be the villain if the plan worked, because then, of course, he'd come through
Yeah.
and have to be dealt with, but he doesn't.
Dormammu's the greater scope villain.
Dormammu is the Thanos of Guardians of the Galaxy
Yeah.
to Doctor Strange. Like he's the end game if the villain is successful.
Yeah.
Now, Caecilius is pretty great in terms of his actual scenes in the movie. He's effective. He's frightening. There's a fucking wonderful performance from Mads Mikkelsen in the bit where he's trussed up in the creepy bondage thing, where he basically explains why he's doing what he's doing. It's like a single shot on his face for like a minute and a half, and he's acting his balls off, and it's so good.
Yeah.
He's acting through some weird prosthesis that obviously your eyes are drawn to, so it could be a distraction, but it never is because he's really good.
Yep.
Ultimately,
The material's just a little thin.
Yeah, I think he's a 2. I think he's on par with like your Abominations, your Whiplashes, your Ronins. I think he's a 2.
I'd be tempted to push it to 3.
Is that because trying to delete you?
He's a very effective villain.
Yes.
He's very well performed.
Mm-hmm.
And I like Mads Mikkelsen.
Do you know what? Because you're not going to make it through to the next round anyway. I'll give it to you. You can have 3.
How many are we narrowing it down to anyway?
All the ones with the highest scores will make it through to the next one. So far, Loki and Zemo.
Oh god, so we're just doing 4s.
But, yeah, unless we get a 5, in which case they're going to outdo it. But I don't think we're going to get a 5.
I don't
this
think
is
we're
the
going to
MCU.
get a 5. We're not going to get a 5.
This isn't a Batman movie featuring a character called the Joker, played by Jack Nicholson or Heath Ledger. Okay. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Ego!
The Living Planew.
I really like Ego.
Ego is great.
And
again, it's because they take a character from the source material who you're like, really? You're going to do this? And they find a way to do it well.
And I would give him a 4 out of 5, but for one thing.
Oh, go for it.
The CGI big rock fight at the end just gets a bit... It gets a bit lost. The character gets a bit lost in the pyrotechnics.
Yeah, but he did kill his mum.
Yeah.
Like, this is a villain who is like, again, this is one of the grey area ones in terms of, like, he's doing it because he thinks it's the right thing to do. He's lost his humanity, or any humanity he could have had. He's a god, he doesn't give a shit anyway, but any sort of compassion he did have, it disappeared along the way. Because of the things he's done to prepare for this moment.
Yeah.
And think about it, what has he been doing for the last, possibly, 100, maybe more years?
No, more than that.
More than that, no, but what's he been doing over this time? He's been luring his children to his world.
For millions of years.
Yeah, but he's been luring his children to his world to basically assess them, and if they don't have the similar power to him, he murders them and dumps them in a cave. For all he could do as well, think about that, like, for all of his power, he could just, erase them right there and then, and still he just kills them and dumps their body in a cave.
Yeah. He's fucking villainous. 4 out of 5 it is.
He goes
a 4 out of 5 it is.
Me.
Kurt Russell and his performance, and the emotional impact that's sort of the result of this wonderful triumvirate of Chris Pratt and Kurt Russell and Michael Rooker, and their triangular sort of father-son relationships.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. He's only as effective as he is because it plays into that story.
Yeah.
But what a story!
Because you
care deeply about those characters because of actions he has put them through.
This is a film about the father that you do have, and the father that you want, and the father you did have, and the father that you thought you had,
and the Hasselhoff you wanted,
and the Zardu Hasselfrau.
Zardu Hasselfrau.
Ego's villainy is a key part of that, and he does that wonderful thing where he's so likeable at first, but almost immediately you know there's something not right.
Yeah.
But then he just keeps being so likeable.
Yeah.
And And
the turning point is even when the plan starts kicking and Star-Lord's getting like impaled on that energy stuff. You're still like, oh god, like what the hell's happening? And then he says it was a damn shame I had to put that tumor in her head. And immediately you're like, you are dead.
That happens.
You are so dead. Like you are going down.
Because after that, Starlight gets impaled.
Oh yeah, the first time he's just sort of he's before.
No, he's into it at first.
Oh yeah,
and he's like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this together. And
because he sort of hits him with the weight of it all.
He's reluctant.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh, but my friends, and then he's like, no, it's going to be amazing.
It's going to be amazing.
And then he says the tumor line.
Yeah.
And then that's when Star's like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that puts him straight into like, yeah, this guy's just flat out fucking villain. Yeah. Spider-Man: Homecoming, Vulture.
4 out of 5.
This was so pleasantly surprising. It ain't the Vulture from the comics. It really isn't.
No. But it's such
He's still Adrian Toomes, as far as we know. He's referred to in all the extended media as Adrian Toomes.
Yeah.
Which implies that Liz Allen...
is Liz Toomes in this.
Is Liz Toomes, or... Well, no, I think she's referred to as Liz Allen again in the extended media. She's definitely just Liz in the film.
Yeah.
But that might have been just to cover up the thing. But then again, part of me was like, oh, maybe it's like a remarriage or whatever, like, who knows. Either way, he's got a personal stake in the hero's life, which is very common for Spider-Man movies, especially. And Spider-Man comics too, but very common for Spider-Man movies.
And it's just...
But the way that it pimp slaps you in the face in the film.
Michael Keaton sort of... And he has that moment where he lays out his motivations, and you're like, fucking hell, he's got a point. Like, because it is very much, oh, well, the rich people are leaving us behind and we've got to live off scraps. So I'm going to better myself more and bettering myself through crime. Fuck it. I have a
wife and daughter to provide for.
I've developed this technology, and if the rich guys have a right to use it to do whatever they want, I have a right to use the technology that I've created to do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And his conviction.
Yes.
And also the fact that he's human enough to not give Peter up at the end.
Yeah.
Fucking brilliant.
Because he understands, as much as he hates him, he understands this is a kid.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I can talk him round. Maybe I was in the wrong. I'm going to leave him be. He's a kid.
Because it's that moment in the car where he threatens him. And
God, that scene is so sinister.
You get the impression that...
Out of all these films, out of all the cosmic scale, and out of all the world-ending, like, sort of, situations that these characters put in, the tensest scene out of all the MCU
have to be personal.
The tensest scene out of all the MCU is Michael Keaton with 2 kids in the back of his car, sat at a stoplight, and the lights illuminating his face
as he realizes
mirror what he's feeling as he realizes that he's in the car with the guy who's... it's so
brilliant.
Good. And it again, this Spider-Man goes with the old school Spider-Man story of it being he's a kid.
Yeah.
So Vulture, because of that, feels even more threatening.
Yeah.
Because he's wailing on a teenager.
And he is at first.
And you know he doesn't want... Once he realises who Peter is, he even gives him that chance to be like, look, just don't go with this. Don't do this. I'm going to do my thing.
Yeah.
Just go.
Don't stop me.
And then when Peter continues, he's like, right, and he brings the building down on him because he's like, I guess I'm gonna have to kill this child.
Don't stop me, and we're cool.
That makes him more frightening.
Like, no, you're not gonna stop. All right, well, I'm just gonna have to kill you then. And he leaves Peter in that.
Stick him against any other of the main characters, the protagonists of this series. They'd all take him down. They'd all better take him down relatively quickly. To a point, like he's obviously ferocious, but like they'd be looking for the angles, wouldn't they?
I'm really
like you stick Vulture and Hawkeye in a room together. Hawkeye's going to take Vulture down in these versions of the characters. He's going to find a way to do it.
Yeah,
but that's why he works so well for this movie.
I'm really tempted to go for a 5. You know,
I wouldn't go 5 because that'll rules out our competition.
Okay. Well, we'll.
He's damn good. He's damn good, but again, if you want to look at it on the top trumps level, if you go to that part,
yeah,
he's not going to be able to hold his own overall, so that's why we'd have to debate other stuff. I think 4 again, but a freaking high 4. And it's also interesting to see who the 4s are actually. We've got 2 very human ones and 2 very supernatural ones. Thor 3, Hela. On paper, I think this character's really dull. I think it's down to the freedom that Taika Waititi gave the actors. I think it's down to the design work done by the costume team and the effects team, and it's down to Cate Blanchett's interpretation of what's on paper.
I think
that makes it work.
I think it gets a 3, and I think it only gets a 3 because of all those elements. Well, because the character's motivation is really thin.
Her end game is done, really.
Yeah.
Like, she's in charge of Asgard, and then she finds out about the rebel sect who are hiding away with Heimdall. She's like, right, we'll go kill them. And then when she does that, she's like, right, we're going to raise an army. But it's like, who are you going to raise them with? You've got your undead soldiers. Yeah. That's cool. But what then?
She's going to kill everyone.
Now, she is pretty fucking great. She's villainous. She's scary. Yeah. She pretty casually stabs out Thor's eye. Like, or at least damages it, or whatever, we don't know.
Yeah.
But, like, she, she's a force to be reckoned with. She shoots blades out of her arms, for Christ's sake. She wears that helmet and doesn't look stupid. Like,
that's really cool.
She's really cool, but I see what you mean. Like, ultimately, she is bested. And it's kind of like, oh, we've seen this motivation before.
Yeah, when it comes down to it, it's like, what is her plan? Destroy everything. Oh, great.
Mm.
And they try and give it some personal stakes by having her be related to Thor, but it doesn't really land.
No.
In the same way that Thor and Loki being brothers does.
That's my one problem with that movie. There is a few bits where you're like, there's emotional threads here that you could work with, but you're skipping over for the sake of the set pieces and the pacing.
And the movie's so much fun, it kind of makes you forget that stuff.
Yeah. Like, I mean, remember at the time I had such a big problem with them killing off the Warriors 3 the way they do.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's like, there's no emotional weight to it when it happens.
Yeah.
And it's a pacing thing. Yeah, it's a pacing thing, and they're hoping that you give a shit about the characters because you watch the other movies.
Yeah.
But it, as its own story, it needed,
needed
a moment with them to remind you who they were and make you go, yay, these guys, we love these guys. Oh god, they're dead! Like,
because that movie relies on its pace to make it work.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Like, a great...
We don't feel the weight of the things she's doing, basically. Because the film doesn't allow it, and also... Because I think the most interesting drama would have been watching her face off against Loki, as well as Thor, which we don't get, or watching her have a scene at least with Odin.
Yeah.
But of course, the way the plot works is he's basically like, I'm going to die now, and when I die, like the spell holding her away is going to break.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Like, I've failed you as a father, and even in death, I'm failing you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Here she comes, walking down the street, she's got a stupid helmet, and blades in her hands and feet.
Or is it great?
It's pretty great.
It's pretty great.
I think she's a 3, but she's a solid 3.
She's a 3, but only by the grace of Cate Blanchett.
Yes. By the grace of Cate Blanchett, go I. And there but for the grace of Cate Blanchett.
Yeah.
Black Panther, we're up to the last film in the MCU as of the recording of this podcast.
Killmonger.
Eric. Killmonger. Eric Stevens.
Great name.
No.
So he gets 1 point just for that.
No. He is great, though. Michael B. Jordan. I've been reading more reviews lately that say that his character's distracting and weird. Like, now that the hype around the film's dying down slightly because everyone's seen it and love it.
They're wrong.
They are wrong. I think the people are misinterpreting his more, like, modern colloquialisms and like, slang for being a quirky choice too far. No. He's the only character who isn't Shakespearean in his style. That's the difference. He's a Shakespearean character, but he was raised in Oakland.
He's not got the...
He was raised in Oakland and served in very violent small ops military teams with other people who obviously have a talent for, and possibly like himself, a bit of a fetish for killing people.
He's not got the ingrained courtly tradition.
Yes.
That... the other characters have.
He would not best someone in ritual combat. He would murk them. Like, that's... Yeah, do you know what I mean? That's
Which he does.
Which he does. Like, he's fascinating. He's a fascinating character. And it's the way he's shot. It's the way Michael B. Jordan plays the role.
Yeah.
It's the way the script...
Right.
It's the way the script... Because I think if you didn't know any of the press going into the movie, you wouldn't necessarily pin him as the main villain.
No.
Until...
the end of the second act.
Until he shoots things in the scrapyard, and then you go, oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's the main villain.
And then but then again, it's going back to what we've said before.
Yeah.
It's that personal connection and those personal stakes.
Yeah. But also, again, you completely see what he's doing and why he's doing it.
Like with Vulture. Like
the difference is, of course, and similarity to Vulture is you're like, this is the wrong way to do this, but also Killmonger's pushing it. Also, Killmonger's pushing it a bit too far.
Yeah.
Whereas Vulture's is for a noble gain, Killmonger's is for a noble reason as far as he's concerned that would result in the death of billions of people. So it's like...
He seems to be a person who believes that the ends always justify the means.
They never outright say it in those words, but essentially his goal in the film is to kill everybody who isn't black. That's pretty much what he's getting at.
I think it's more a case of...
Specifically, like, those who have, like, history within colonisation and stuff, but, like, that's where he's going. He's like, I want to go out there and I want to arm my brothers and sisters, is what he says at one point. Like, we're going to arm them. And it's like...
I wouldn't go so far as to say that. I think that's a bit of an oversimplification, but I think he's...
Yes, to a degree, but,
I think he's more about... He's violent revolution without limits... for freedom at all costs, basically. And he doesn't care who he kills.
Oh, it's not so much like wipe out everybody who isn't white on the planet, but like the goal is like, here you go, people who feel oppressed, murder all of those of a different race around you, but not even here, or make you feel oppressed.
Not even down to it being a racial thing, but just like, although of course that is a huge factor. But just a case of like, if you're not with me, you're against me, and if you're against me, I'm gonna kill you.
I think actually when he's dishing out the stuff, he refers to it as like, we kill the men, like we give and if they like anyone who's then kill anyone who's fighting kill the women, kill the children, and anyone who's fighting against you if they don't comply. So he's implying that like, we're just going to slaughter as many people as possible if they are, like you say, against me. It also would have been interesting to see how the story would have played out, because they talk to all their war dogs, and only 3 of them agree.
Yeah.
London, New York, and Hong Kong. So it's like, what would have been the next step? Would it have been Wakandans from other countries coming back to like fight against him as well? And be like,
a Wakandan civil war that goes global because they've got agents everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, the scale of that again is more fascinating, and it's more personal because it's more similar to stuff that we deal with in real life. Now, that's not to say that the cosmic stuff isn't entertaining and compelling, because of course it can be, but there is a different.
You can frame that kind of you can put those kind of stakes in a cosmic level story because they do it with Guardians Volume 2.
Again, Ego and Loki, like there are personal stakes which you can.
Which is what makes those characters interesting. Yeah.
I think Killmonger's a 4 as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hands down.
He's got to be.
Hands down.
He's got to be. Meets. I mean, I think he would lose out on that theoretical 5 because it's like, well, your plan didn't work, and he wasn't like a finger click away from winning.
Yeah,
like there was much more work to be done. But again, villain loves killing people, not necessarily loves being evil because he doesn't think he's in the wrong, but he loves killing people. He's proud of killing people. He marks his body to prove he's killed people.
He's proud of his strength.
I need the mark. So there's that. Now, last quick round before we have a little debate on this. On where to go with it next.
I think we can make this even quicker.
Yeah.
So this is about the Netflix shows.
This is the Netflix shows. The main antagonist, as we've narrowed down, and we'll go in reverse to make this interesting. Defenders, main antagonist, is the Hand, arguably. Yep. It's the organisation. The Defenders finds a way to make the shadowy, zombifying, resurrecting warriors ninja organisation from the comic books, who have brought Wolverine back from the dead and used them as a soldier of their army, who have fucked with Daredevil and Elektra and Iron Fist and other characters multiple times and made their life a living hell. The Defenders found a way to make them boring as fuck.
So cross that off the list.
We're
not going to get into that.
They're a 1. We're not even touching them. They're a 1. Iron Fist is Harold Meacham.
Give him a 1. Move on. Not worth your time. Even if it is David Wenham, and I love David Wenham.
Luke Cage, Cottonmouth, was a red herring villain.
Yeah, sadly.
Black Mariah is definitely the ongoing antagonist of the Luke Cage story.
Yeah.
But
ultimately,
she is not, in the words of, to coin the Joss Whedon TV show phase, she's not the big bad.
Yeah.
So it's Diamondback, who is a lot of fun, but he's a 2. He's a 2. Like, he's a lot of fun to watch, and those final fights are down. And I don't mind the stupidish costume.
Yeah.
But he's the least interesting of the 3 antagonists presented throughout the series, which is a shame. Daredevil Series 2 is Nobu. Nobu's a lot of fun. I'd give Nobu a 2.
Yeah,
because he's lost in the series, like because of other stuff.
He's absolutely the least interesting plotline that's going on in that series.
Yeah,
that's
the stuff with Elektra is great. The stuff with Frank Castle is fascinating.
Yeah,
the dip back into Fisk's storyline is brilliant.
Yeah,
Nobu's great, but he's just that.
Yeah.
He's a 2. This is going to be tough. Okay. Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
Kilgrave.
5 out of 5. Next.
No.
Yes!
No.
Yes!
I would argue, good sir, kind sir,
Yeah.
that Kilgrave's villainy is tainted a bit.
How so?
Kilgrave is in the comics, the Purple Man. Was his name Zebediah Kilgrave?
Yeah.
Yeah. David Tennant, for those who are like, wait, what? I don't remember what you're talking about. In the comics, he's like the most sinister, seedy villain. They've done some bigger stories with him where he's got involved with more superheroic kind of things.
Yeah.
But ultimately, he's a mind rapist.
Pretty much.
Like, he's not an evil hypnotist, he's not an evil psychic. He walks into a room and you say, hey, you can't be in here. And he says, turn around, walk out that window, kill yourself.
Yeah.
And you go, okay. And you just do it. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
And in the book Alias, that Jessica Jones is based off of, they definitely use that to its fullest. Brian Michael Bendis crafts a horrifying villain whose entire presence is about being invasive. Like it's a type of invasion.
Invasive and abusive.
It's abusive to the point where in the scenes featuring him in Alias, he's aware he's in a comic book. He never outright says it.
Yeah.
But the reader
he does.
The reader is addressed.
Yeah.
Like, it's in the She-Hulk style of, like, less Deadpool, more She-Hulk.
He breaks the fourth wall.
Fourth wall is broken because it wants you, the reader, to feel uncomfortable when you're reading scenes with Kilgrave. Yeah. Now, I feel part of that is definitely there in the series. They tone back some of his atrocities, and I think quite rightly so.
I don't know, in a way, I
think quite rightly so for that medium. I think had he gone a bit too, they'd gone a bit too far in flat out saying like, oh yeah, he sexually abused people and this and that.
But I think they do state that.
They state it, but they not as graphically as A-list, and I think that's fine.
They don't show it. I
don't think that takes away from his villainy.
We don't need to see that. To be fair,
I don't think that takes away from his villainy in the show. I think it was more suitable for that medium, to be honest.
And also, like, sexual abuse is a shorthand villainy is not necessarily the best.
No,
way to do it.
It works in the book because it's the way the book makes you feel really seedy and uncomfortable, because the book is very seedy and uncomfortable.
Yeah.
The show is a little more traditional in terms of procedural cop show mixed in with the creepy superhero stuff.
Yeah.
So it works for that. The thing that they take away from him in the book is they make him more human. Now, that can be effective. Look at Zemo, look at Ego's connection with Peter and, like, Yondu, etc. But seeing him be the whining child, seeing him have doubts about what he's doing, and that weird bit in the middle where they try to turn him into a good guy, it just feels odd. Like, I think it takes away from his
They don't
impact
try to turn him
slightly.
into a good guy. He does it because he thinks it's what Jessica wants.
Yeah, but why is he stooping to her will? Now, I think that's to do with, in the show, they make a thing of he's not able to control her anymore, which isn't in the book so much, is it? Like, there's a bit of that.
Yeah.
But there's a bit of, like, she's able to resist him more, but she gets assistance.
I think it's the idea of as an abuser, what you will see sometimes is the abuser trying to appease their victim to get them to stay.
Yeah,
and that's what he's trying to do.
But does it weaken his chances of basically being like Muhaha mustache twirler in the top trumpety kind of stakes? Because he essentially heals.
I think it's more insidious than that. Actually.
Well, his storyline suffers at the exact same time the show suffers when it takes the Netflix dip.
Yeah, I suppose.
And it sort of like, I think they spend too long having him as a caged animal. There's definitely a reason. There's definitely excellent storytelling reasons to stick him in a cell where his powers can't affect anybody and sit down and talk to him.
Yeah.
But I almost feel like they really try to make you sympathise with him, and that grey line could be fine. But it's like whenever they do a take on Dracula, and they try and make you sympathise with Dracula, I feel it massively takes away from what does make that character their most effective.
Yeah.
Which is why I would put him at 4.
Okay.
Because again, it's great storytelling for in the context, but it does make me go a bit like, because then by the time he's the villain in the last episode, like flat out, like, yeah, no, he's got to die. Yeah. He has to die to save people. I'm like, oh, I feel like you want me to be conflicted about Jessica killing him, but no, I want him to kill him. And it almost feels like the detour doesn't pay off emotionally. When the story, it's not like Vulture where you go, I see where he's coming from.
Yeah.
You don't feel for Kilgrave, so the detour almost feels pointless.
I suppose, yeah.
But I don't know. It's interesting acting, and I'm fascinated to see what they do with him in series
Going
2.
forward, yeah. But we'll find out soon.
It'll be Arkham Knight Joker, won't it?
Yeah.
It'll be nightmares and hallucinations, which is a perfect way to use the character again.
Death is already cheap enough in the Netflix shows. I don't want it to be any cheaper.
Don't bring him back, but do have him in it as a presence.
Yeah.
This could make or break who moves on from this list. Wilson Fisk, Kingpin. I mean, I'm a little biased. He's my favourite MCU villain. If someone said to me, like, who's your favourite villain in the MCU, just in terms of favourite, I always got Fisk. Because the journey we were taken on during Series 1 of Daredevil was so good.
So good.
And again, like, it's the grey area thing, but they don't want you to sympathise with him. They just want you to understand what made this monster. But they don't want you to, like, feel sorry for him.
No.
Yet they still toy with you a bit. Like, you don't look at Fisk on his own. If the series just played out as Fisk, as who he is, and we still learn everything we learn about him, you'd be like, wow, I feel really bad for him, but he's a bad man and he needs to go down. Like, he needs to go down. The thing they put in there to make you hate yourself for liking him, and hate yourself for deciding he's a baddie, is the story with Vanessa in present day.
Yeah.
Because you see a kindness in him, and you're like, oh God, like, no, he needs to go down, but I want them to escape and have their happily forever after. Like, what?
But he's not going to be able to have his happily forever after because he's just so broken.
Yeah. He
is a vessel of barely contained rage.
Yeah.
Like, when he cuts loose,
Yeah.
he cuts loose. And he's terrifying.
Yeah, oh Christ. I mean, 2 words. Car door.
Oh, man.
Like, Fisk, he's horrifying when he gets into that mode.
Yeah.
And you see more of it in Series 2. Oh, God, the scene in Series 2 with him and Matt.
Yeah.
Is terrifying. And it makes you just, oh, God, he better be back for Series 3.
I think they're doing Born Again, so he will be.
Because they set it up in that scene.
Yeah.
He's a master manipulator, yet at the same time isn't the most confident character in the MCU. He surrounds himself with people that make him more powerful.
He is incredibly powerful, and yet also incredibly insecure.
He's a giant baby.
Which makes him...
And I just mean his description.
Yeah, which makes him even more just full of rage.
They do something kind of ingenious because it preys on your kind of prejudices as well, like personal states. Like, the character's sort of played like he is very sort of severely on the autistic spectrum in a behavioural sense.
Yeah.
In a way where you do sort of like, oh God, like, this guy just needs to be understood. People just need to, like, give him a chance. But at the same time, when he flips out, you're like, I need to back out. Like, I'm not sure how to handle... And based on the scenario, based on how he's flipping out, you just feel uneasy with having to deal with him.
Yeah.
But then, of course, when it's like, car door, you're like, no, that's a bad guy.
Yeah.
Like, that is a bad guy. This isn't him misunderstanding the situation. This is somebody brutally murdering someone with a car door. He is... Oh, God. He's also the equal protagonist of Daredevil Series 1.
Yeah.
He's the antagonist, but, like, it's very much his show.
Yeah. It's as much his story as it is Matt's, which is what makes that first season of Daredevil so engrossing.
They are 2 sides of a coin.
Yeah.
But not in the MCU mistake, it's just mirror villain kind of way.
Yeah.
So, that being said, is there anything that would drag him less than a 4?
No.
He's a 4. Fuck. Okay. Right, so let's look at our numbering here. Let's figure out who we've got.
Yeah.
Loki's emo. Ego. This reads like a really shit recipe for like a pasta dish. Loki's emo ego. Vulture. Doo-doo-doo. We're entering our finalists, ladies and gentlemen, not literally. Killmonger.
I hate you so much.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh my God!
Killmonger, Wilson Fisk.
Wilson Fisk.
And Kilgrave, the Purple Man. Guys, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 villains.
Let's cut it down to 5.
Let's cut it down to 5. Well, let's cut it down to 3. Let's cut it down to 3 as best we can. How the fuck do we even start to cut these guys down? I think we have to look now. I think now we have to move into a top trumpy territory of a kind. I think we have to narrow down who is most effective as their own element.
We cut Ego.
Well, I was going to say the first one that comes to mind for me to cut is Zemo.
Yeah.
Zemo is excellent, but Zemo is only effective because he plays the Avengers like pawns.
Yeah, he doesn't have that power. He's a manipulator, but he doesn't have the power.
Yeah, and he's not a bad guy.
Yeah.
In the traditional sense.
Well, he is.
No, it's an act of revenge on them specifically.
An act of revenge that murders several innocent people.
Yes, he's a bad guy in terms of the effect of his actions, but he's not the sort of. I mean, he only gets his hands dirty and kills someone outright once in the movie, and it's a Hydra agent. He drowns them upside down in the sink.
Well, apart from the doctor that he murdered in.
Oh yeah, that guy too. Yeah, good point. But what I'm saying is that was his mission. He has no plans beyond that. He's not going to be.
Well, he tries to kill himself when he's accomplished his mission. Yeah.
So I think Zemo's ruled out of the 3. Yeah. Goodbye, Helmut Zemo.
Also, he's just not as good. No. He's good, but he's not as good. Or bad.
I think this is a toughie. Why Ego? Why would you rule out Ego?
Because he is powerful, and he does have that personal connection, but he's not. What makes the best of these villains the best is how relatable they are, and the way
that's the key.
Yeah. The way that you humanize these villains, not so that you like them, but that you can understand them. And I think Ego is
Ego's goal.
Slightly too...
Ego's goal is more supervillain than villain. He wants to.
It's slightly mitigated by that personal connection with Star-Lord.
But again, it's ultimately so that he can have power over all planets.
Yeah,
that's why he wants to do it.
Not even have power over all planets, just be all planets. He wants to assimilate everything into himself.
Yeah. So it's sinister, it's insidious, and it is evil. But again, it's like after that, what else? Everything's just your everything's your Polly Pocket. Like
everything's you.
Everything's your Mighty Max playsets. That's all it is from this point onwards. So Ego goes. Goodbye. Ego goes. Egos.
Now we're down to 5.
Loki, Vulture, Killmonger, Fisk, Kilgrave.
I think we can cut Loki for the same reasons as Ego.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's true, but isn't Loki's ultimate goal essentially just to be loved and worshipped? Like, his entire thing is he wants to prove he's better than his brother or his father, which makes him interesting because he'll never quite get to where he wants. He's always going to try and prove himself. He was Odin for at least 2 years. He was ruling Asgard secretly, pretending to be his father. And what did he do with it? He sat on his arse and enjoyed it and tried to paint Loki. He used his power on the throne to pretend to be someone else and paint himself as a martyr.
But if you want to talk about villains and evilness, I don't think he's too broken to be redeemed. In a way that
as we're seeing
in the way that probably these other 4 probably are.
Yeah.
Oh, actually no.
Vulture could be redeemed.
Yeah, I think Vulture's not completely broken.
Yeah,
but I think he's so relatable that he deserves a place in the top 3, which means that I would say that my personal top 3
from the remaining 5.
Go
for it. Let's see.
Is from 3 to 1.
Oh, okay. I was just going to put them in 3, but go for it if you want to rank them.
I'm sorry.
Oh?
I'm sorry, David Tennant.
Oh.
Fisk.
Yeah.
Killmonger.
Oh.
Vulture.
Wow.
I honestly think Vulture is the best MCU villain. I think Fisk has an advantage, and therefore we have to kind of give him a bit of a handicap, because he's had so much more screen time and so much more development.
Yeah.
But I think you could have got a similar thing to, like, Vulture with Fisk in a movie.
Yeah.
Developing him in that
I
way.
still
him
hope
relatable.
they utilise him.
Yeah, I think they
and
will.
stick him in a film.
They'd be stupid
in
not
some
to.
role.
They would
Yeah.
be stupid not to.
Even if it's just as a confirmation he's there and he's supplying the
Yeah.
thing to maybe the main antagonist of that movie.
But I think he's so relatable.
Mm.
And in the same way that Killmonger is to a degree.
Mm.
And in a way, the only reason Killmonger is not number one for me is, and this is a purely selfish reason,
Yeah.
I just don't relate to his motivation as much as I do Vulture's. And that's a purely...
Vulture's motivation is a completely innocent and understandable motivation.
Not completely innocent and understandable.
Innocent in the sense that when you boil it down, it's he wants to provide for his family.
Yeah. It's a little more down to earth.
He wants to provide for his family, and he wants the rights that he's entitled to, which is being treated equally to his fellow man.
Yeah.
Which, again, Killmonger is also his thing, but his pathway involves arguably genocide.
And
whereas Vulture's is,
also,
if someone gets hurt while I'm robbing a bank, they get hurt.
It's a purely selfish thing for me. And this will be different for other people, but because I come from a position of relative privilege, it just simply comes down to the fact that Killmonger's motivations don't resonate as much with me personally.
You can understand his motivations as you observe them, but you can never really feel exactly.
I can understand them and agree with part of his motivations on an intellectual and an empathic level.
Yeah.
But on a purely gut emotional level, I identify more with the struggles of trying to pull yourself up from being working class that Vulture endures.
Isn't this disturbing that we're getting down to our talk about who the best villains are, and the best ones are the ones where we're like, yeah, I kind of see where they're coming from.
Yeah, because I think that's what makes them so compelling.
That's true.
In all honesty.
But also, what does that say about us? That's a good three. No, I'm being facetious. That is a really good three. So you knock out Loki and Kilgrave from the Remainers.
Yeah, I'd go
from the Remainers.
And
see,
I'll tell you. I think I've just told you why. So there we go.
See,
and the only reason I'd go with Fisk over Kilgrave, is because Kilgrave basically comes down to, I'm just doing it because I'm evil.
Yeah.
And you could sort of try and pin it on like the abuse he suffered at the hands of the experimentation he was put under. But I think he was probably already evil before that.
He's more compelling as a villain, I think, when he's just evil.
Yeah.
Like the Joker. Like whenever people try to give me a sympathetic backstory for the Joker, like in the context of certain stories, like Killing Joke, in the context of flashbacks and that, I'm like, that's a fascinating story. But I prefer the animated series / 89 movie version. This guy was always a piece of work.
Yeah.
This just gave him the license to be more creative with it.
He's always been a monster. Even if he was on the surface a normal dude at one point.
Yeah.
He was always had a monster inside him. And he's always been that monster. And I think that's Kilgrave.
Yeah. My three is a little tough. Because again, from the arguments you made, I'm like, God damn it. Vulture would just miss out on the three for me.
Okay.
It'd be Loki in third.
Yeah.
Because I can't help it. I love some muhaha villainy, and even though you
totally
understand where he's coming from,
totally get it.
There is something about his behaviour in the Avengers in particular, where it's like, look at me, I have all the power. Well, I don't really. I'm doing this as part of someone else's bigger plan. But look at me, Earthlings.
And I think
I am the figurehead of this invasion. I'm the reason you're all going to bow down.
I think, like you mentioned before, he does have the potential for redemption, and that's what makes him probably the most interesting character, possibly the most interesting character out of these five.
Yeah.
But because of that, I don't think it makes him the best villain because I think that degree of irredeemability, if we're going to get this granular, I think that's important to their...
Well, I again, like...
Villainy.
As far as villainy goes, like, he manages to topple... Arguably,
he does horrendous things.
Arguably, only then getting together, so not quite in their prime, but he manages to topple the Avengers.
Yeah.
Like, hold his own against the Avengers, apart from the Hulk. So...
Yeah.
It's like, that's impressive in itself, but I don't know. He's the most comic booky of the remaining ones for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I can't help but still I'm drawn to that a bit.
No,
I'm like,
totally.
Look at you in your daft helmet and your green costume. Look at you stabbing that man in the face just to get a retinal scan. You creepy bugger. Second for me would be Killmonger.
Yeah.
Because he feels like a wrecking ball.
He is a wrecking ball.
Like, he comes into Wakanda and in the space of like an hour topples their
like
king.
A wrecking ball.
Like, topples their king. And his determination is frightening.
Yeah.
Like, where Zuri and T'Challa say, like, this is your last chance. Like, you can stop this now. We can settle this a different way. And he puts down his weapons. You think, what's he doing? And he puts them down basically to peel off his shirt, show the scars for every kill he's ever committed in the name of getting to this moment, and then says, I've been waiting my whole life so I can get here and kill you. And then just picks the weapons back up and you're like, okay, that's frightening. Like, his determination is terrifying to see. B. Jordan's having a ball. Again, the character is not, I'm evil, muhaha, but all the same, like, he's reveling in the position of power he gets. Once he gets in that position, he's like, I'm going to take advantage of this. Watch me go.
I'm evil. Yes, I am.
And then I'd put Fisk at the top.
I totally get it. Totally get it.
I think Fisk, even though he's not wielding great power, he's not sweeping through a nation and becoming their ruler, he's not leading an army of aliens to descend on a massive city. He feels like a force of nature.
Oh God, yeah.
And it's just, it's that thing of, no, like, I see everything he's been through, and it shows me the monster he's become. It doesn't make that monster.
He is the ill intent.
Oh God, it doesn't make that monster redeemable.
No.
When he's being carted away in the car at the end of the van, and then they overturn it, and he's getting out, you're like, oh my God, the villain is planning his breakout.
Oh yeah.
Like, he's a baddie, and he's on his way out. But it's the Vanessa connection.
Yeah.
That's disturbing.
It's that humanization.
He's not manipulating her. This is another life. It's an echo of a normal person, of a nice person.
It's his charisma.
It's not a sign of, but it's not a sign of who he could be.
No.
It's like, oh my God, you're managing to weirdly, he's the only sort of double life villain.
Yeah.
Out of these bad guys.
Yeah.
He's the only real secret like Vulture, yes, but
even when she sees what he's capable of being,
yeah,
she stands by him.
She stands by him. Which is disturbing.
That truly makes him compelling. Which is why he's in my top 3.
Yeah.
Right. Hands down.
But again, not quite sure where to go. I still makes it tough. Okay. I think out of interest, because these 5 are definitely all worthy of being within a top position.
Yes.
I'm gonna put it to you guys. BigDamnContact@gmail.com.
BigDamnCast on Twitter.
You've heard who we put in our top 3 for the best MCU villain, but I want to know, out of these 5, who are your top picks? Who's your favourite? And why? Your contestants are Loki, The Avengers, Vulture, Spider-Man Homecoming, Eric Killmonger, Black Panther, Wilson Fisk, Daredevil Series 1, and Zebediah Kilgrave, Jessica Jones Series 1.
He's not called Zebediah in that. Whatever he's called.
Something
Kilgrave.
Something Kilgrave. David Tennant. So, Loki, Vulture, Killmonger, Fisk, and Kilgrave. Who is the best MCU villain out of those, as far as you're concerned, and why? We're going to read some out next week.
And we'll dig into those responses along with this week's emails on the next show. With one exception, Luke will get to your full email next week, but happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Squire!
Yeah!
Happy birthday with your eyes and face! Happy birthday to all of us, in a sense.
Bon anniversaire!
Ouais? Le plume de ma tante?
Le plume de ma tante est près de la chaise de ma tante.
As well you know. Bye! See you next time!